excited are you to get out there against another team like Mississippi State and see what you guys are made of?
Yeah, we're about halfway through fall practice right now, so I think the guys are kind of chomping at the bit to see somebody else face some other pitchers, the hitters to face some other pitchers to see a different lineup, team in a different uniform in the other dugout. So, we've been to Pensacola. We were there last year. It was a great experience for the guys, great crowd, Pensacola. A lot of Noel fans there. Would be a big time for the guys. And Mississippi State's a great opponent. We're going to see a high-level baseball team and get a chance to see what we're made of.
Of the returning guys, is there anybody that you feel has taken a really significant step forward for you?
Yeah, I think we have a lot, to be honest with you. I mean, so far we're 3 weeks into fall practice. So, Brody DeLamalure has really progressed a lot. Hunter Carnes has had a really good fall so far. Miles Bailey's had a really good fall from a position player standpoint. So, yeah, we feel really good about the returning guys and the guys that have some experience, that they're ready to continue to grow as a player and come out and have a better year this year.
Any of the new faces really jumped right into it and been heavily in the mix for you?
Yeah, and we have a couple, right? So John Stutzer's a freshman who's had a really good fall so far for us. Kelvin Polino is a freshman who's had a really good fall. Braden Dowd, outfielder from USC, transfer from USC, was an all-conference player in the Pac-12 last year, or the Big Ten, I guess, last year. And, has really been a productive player. Gabe Frazier, transfer from Arkansas, he's had a good first couple of weeks of practice. So, we're really excited to kind of blend those guys together. And again, we go to Pensacola this weekend. We get a chance to put them all together on one field and see what it looks like, which is kind of the reason we do this, right? The reason we play these games is so we can, get these guys together in that environment and really build the next half of the fall after what we see on Saturday.
What about Eli? How's Eli?
Putnam's been really good. Yeah, experienced guy, right? Like he's 22, 23 years old, an older guy who's played 4 years at Davidson, so very experienced. He brings that to the table. We've got some young guys that are, this will be their first time in this type of environment. Eli's seen it and done it before, so, that's very valuable for us. He's a strong, physical kid and has shown in batting practice and some of his at-bats out here that he's got the ability to leave the park and be a threat in the lineup. So, yeah, he's been a good piece for us.
During fall ball, do you and Link kind of think about how would a lineup construct, who complements who in the lineup, who do we have that fits this role, that role, things like that?
I think there's some thought of that, yes, but we also try to put these guys in as many different situations and different positions as we can to see what the best combination is, right? We've got 7 or 8 different infielders out there, and they're mixing positions every day. Some are playing second, short, third, mixing around every day so that, we see what the best combination looks like. And the same in the outfield. I think we have, the majority of the guys that are out there could play center field. We have, I think, elite athleticism in the outfield. So, giving those guys a chance to get the angles at all 3 different positions, just see what it looks like, and we still got some time to figure that out. But in the back of your mind, you're always thinking of, what would it look like if this guy's leading off, or this guy's hitting third, or this guy's playing short, or, how those things develop.
Being able to scrimmage against other teams in the fall has been a thing for a few years
Right.
now, but as much as it's grown and as big as that crowd was in Pensacola last year, I know they're expecting another one this year, just how valuable is that to not just see what they look like against another team, but as close to a real game as you can possibly get with an atmosphere?
Well, I do think in the transfer portal age that we're in, your team is new every year, right? And that's just the way it is for everybody, I think. So putting them in this environment, you get to see who can perform when the lights come on, right? Like some of these guys have never played in front of 6,000 people. They've never played against, an SEC type opponent that we're going to see this weekend against those type of arms and in that environment. So, you get them used to that, but also, I think you see things that come out when the guys are in that situation that may not show up when we're inter-squatting out here on a Tuesday in front of, scouts and a couple people just wandering by. The adrenaline gets going a little bit, the blood pressure goes up, and all of a sudden you got to go out and perform, and we get to see what they do under those conditions. So to me, that's the biggest benefit, especially on the mound too, and Mike will talk about it, I'm sure, but getting those guys on the mound and being able to perform in that type of environment is huge for the program.
With Miles Bailey getting some looks at that outfield, that's something that's going to be in display, or what is something that you want to see once when you get them out?
To be his size, Miles is a great athlete, right? So we just want to give him an opportunity to have as many options as he can. I don't think anybody looks at Miles as a first base only type player. And where Miles' next step may be, he may be asked to play the outfield. So we want to give him some reps out there and get him comfortable. And it may be here as well. Like, again, we're evaluating every position and seeing what we have. So, I don't rule out Miles playing the outfield for sure, and that's something we'll look at and talk about. But we're giving him the chance to run around out there a little bit and show his athleticism. And we have a lot of scouts at these scrimmages as well, so they get a chance to see him out there, which is good for Miles.
For BJ Gibson, the baseball only focus, how
Yep.
beneficial will that be for him?
BJ's a special talent, right? He's a special athlete. For him to decide to put football down and to get the back half of the fall under his belt, which he didn't do last year, I think he's kind of realized that baseball is where his future is going to be, which, we support that, and I know football did as well. It certainly is going to help him, right? Like, he needs the at-bats, he needs the reps. Walking out in January and trying to jump into this is extremely difficult. He performed very well last year in the limited reps that he got with the buildup that he had to get ready for. And so, given the extra couple months that he's going to have here to work with us, it can only help. And, he's got some work to do for sure, but that time is going to be extremely beneficial for him.
You've been around baseball recruiting a long time. How has it changed with the portal era? And
Completely different.
This last offseason specifically for you guys, you
Yeah.
had so many pieces to part. What
Yeah.
was that rush to rebuild the roster like?
Well, I think your team now is 1 year at a time. It's just the nature of the beast, right? Like, the team is 1 year at a time, and you kind of have to build it that way, right? Like, we have some returning guys back. We knew who those guys were. I think the players here at Florida State, they appreciate what we're doing here. They enjoy being here. We had a lot of recruits in a week and a half ago and set some of our guys up, and the one thing they talked about in front of the recruits that were here was the environment of playing in front of our fans at Hauser, and how how great that crowd is, and how much fun it is to come out here and compete with them behind you. So I think we have a lot to offer, right? And you look at this team, we were able to go out and fill some holes with the transfer portal. We had a hole on the infield, we had a hole in the outfield, on the mound. We rebuilt the pitching staff on the mound. So, you just kind of evaluate as the season progresses and see where those holes are, and then you're able to go out and fill them from the transfer portal. I do think it always starts with elite high school guys coming in as well. You want to have those guys that can come in and be in the program for 2 and 3 years, or 3 and 4 years. So you have to have a mix of those guys. But again, when you have those holes like we had, losing 11 guys in the draft, you can fill them pretty quick. And I think we did that. I think we were pretty good at doing that this year, and we brought in some really good pieces that are going to help us.
Was speed kind of a common desire as you're looking at transfers, or were there other common traits that you're looking for as far as identifying guys in the portal, saying, I want a guy like that?
Yeah, I think one of Coach Jarrett's building blocks from a position player standpoint is the athleticism, right? The guys that can move around, not guys that are just one position only guys, the guys that have some versatility. So, when you look at Braden Dowd and Frazier and those guys from the portal, Eli from the portal, they can do multiple things, and that really helps, especially on the position player side. I think we learned, if the goal is to win the national championship, which I think it is here at Florida State always, when you get out to that big field in Omaha, that outfield is massive, and you have to have athletes out there that can cover that ground. And so as we're building our team from that point to now, you're looking for guys that can play when you get on the biggest stage. And, I think we had a very athletic outfield last year. I think we'll have the same this year, and that's just part of what we're trying to do here.
What is it about Link that makes him really well suited for this era, where it's year to year and everything's just kind of on its head?
The attention to detail with Link is unbelievable, right? Like, he sees things that I don't think anybody else sees out here on the field, and he's able to verbalize what he sees. The guys understand it, they respect it, they know he's watching, so you're always pushing yourself as a player to make sure you're doing things the right way. Because if you don't, it's going to be seen, and it's going to be, you're going to have to answer for it. And so, I think that discipline and that focus that he has every day out here at practice, it really pushes the guys. And I think in the portal era, guys, it's a 1 year at a time deal for those guys also. A lot of these guys that are coming in here, they came to Florida State not only for Florida State, that's a big piece of it, but also because they realize they may have 1 year and it's their draft year. They need to be good in this 1 year, right? So they want to perform at their highest level, so that at the end of the season, whenever the draft rolls around, they're ready for the next step also. And I think we've got a track record of developing those guys, and you see with Cam and with James and some of those guys that are moved on to pro ball, when they get there, they're ready for it.